Hello and welcome to Friday. It has been a few days since we finished up our little trip to LA and Tucson, but now we're back and we're going to be doing our Camp Fangamer 2016 reflections video. And we're also going to be talking a little bit about our LA trip as well. We'll try and hit on that as briefly as possible. So LA was good.
It was good.
It was good. I know I've said it in some of the other videos, but for us it was really relaxing, which was really important to us. Like, we very much tried to do very little. And for most of the time, I feel like all we really did was eat and sleep. And it was awesome. Really enjoyed that. We got out and we did a few things here and there.
You got a little work done.
Yeah, I had work to do because I was, like, right up into the last minute, I was, like, working on stuff. And then eventually I was like, I can't finish it all. Crap, I need to change game plans. And I was like trying to download all of the assets onto my laptop and like, all right, I'm gonna have to work on it there. But I got it all done and I really relaxed. I mean, really relaxed, which was really fantastic. But LA was a lot of fun. We got to see the Getty. We got to eat.
We got to see the observatory.
Oh yeah, and the Griffith Observatory. See, it's weird because like I remember that event not as a place, but as an event because Alex proposed. So I keep forgetting that we actually did go to a place. It was I think it was the first planetarium I've ever been to, and it was cool. It was a really cool place. But yeah, Alex proposed, and that was awesome, and it was really nice that, you know, they wanted us there for that. Mm-hmm. I say they, I mean Alex.
Haley had no clue.
Haley had no clue, although she also was happy that we were there to celebrate with them. So yeah, it was a good time. LA was fun. Then we went to Camp Fangamer in Tucson, and it was, I think, the first thing. These videos aren't out yet, but I have a feeling that the first thing that's going to happen is when I release these, there's going to be a lot of people that are like, "Why didn't you do 2-hour-long videos like last year?" And there's a few reasons for that. The biggest reason is that last year when I did that, it was one of the integral reasons why vlogs wound up being behind for forever, because it took me like a week to make one vlog, and that is a long time. So this year I went into it saying, you know what, I'm not going to do that again. I don't want to get super behind. And also, if people want to watch the stream, it's archived. They can watch the thing. I cut it down last year, and I'm glad I did. It was fun, but I'm not going to do that again this year. Now, it turns out that was probably the best move, because the overarching like story element stuff of the stream, because last year it was kind of a coherent story of like Pokey owned the event and was doing all this stuff, and he kept having all these frequent appearances. A lot of that was largely gone. It still happened in the stream, but it was like greatly diminished. It was more of just kind of like fun stream antics and things like that. The way I described it to a few other people from what I had seen was that last year at Camp Fangamer, the stream was the main event. It was like, boom, the big thing, the stream. And they had a huge room for it, and there was a ton of people in there all the time, because that was the main thing going on. So it was the big event, and then a few other little things happening that you could also do. This year, they changed it completely. The stream was a thing that was happening, but there was a bunch of other things that was going on. And it was much more hands-on, like you can go do your own thing and hang out with people.
You can go in this room and do that, or this room and do that, or whatever.
Yeah, and I think that the feel of the convention was different, and it was planned that way. And actually, even the streaming room itself was down to 2 rows of chairs. I mean, it was very small. And if you went into the streaming room, it would fill up pretty quickly. We actually didn't go into the streaming room pretty much at all until the finale. Like, I poked my head in there once or twice just to see what was going on, but as far as like go in and sit down and enjoy the stream, we never really did that. It wasn't until the finale on Sunday that we actually went in and took a look at everything. But that was okay.
Yeah.
That was okay. Last year
we had a lot of fun doing other things.
Yeah, and last year we spent so much time in the stream room, which I enjoyed, but it was just completely different from this year. The arcade was back. Well, actually, I take it back. Last year they had a console room, and this year they had a console room, but then also brought in like 15 arcade machines, which was really, really cool. So they had a legit arcade. They had the merch. I actually never filmed the merch museum.
Okay.
Oops. But it was much smaller. They dedicated it strictly to official merchandise, and
Camille's figures were still there.
Camille's figures were still there. But as far as I'm concerned, her figurines are official merchandise. And the reason I say that is, like the figurines that you would see in the Earthbound manual, that would have been official merchandise. Well, they did the Mother 3 manual, and as far as I'm concerned, that's official merchandise. So I actually consider that.
Well, there was the Eevee Saga stuff because Jeff Saturn was there and the mold was there.
That was there also. You got me on the technicality, but otherwise it was just official stuff, and it was very small compared to last year's. There's a room where they made plushies, which I don't think I've.
You could make.
I don't know if I filmed that ever.
You could make plushies. You could make a Mr. Saturn or a Fussy Pickle, and then they also had a ton of stuffed animals they picked up from Goodwill or somewhere, and you could take them apart and then make your own Chimera. Yeah.
So the theme of this year was Mother 3. We're gonna do like minimal to no Mother 3 spoilers in this video, so you should be okay to watch this video. But in Mother 3,
there's chimeras.
There's these animals like put together, and they're frequent throughout the game. You fight all sorts of weird things like dog chickens and other stuff, like all these different animal combinations. So they went along with that theme where you could take these stuffed animals and rip them apart and combine them through sewing. So I don't think I ever filmed any of that.
No.
Which was unfortunate, but I never did.
I have mine. I took a picture of them. Haley also has one.
Yeah, so you guys actually went and made them.
On mine, I took a starfish, like a plushy starfish, and then I sewed a seal head to like the back of it here. So it had like this starfish body and a seal head, and then I sewed koala heads for ears. And then I took a bow off of a deer and put the bow up here. And then in another toy, in like a little chick or something, I found a noise button. You hit it and it made like a little...
Yeah.
But it didn't sound like a little chick. It sounded like it was screaming. So I took it out and I put it in the starfish in one of the little arms. So you could press it and it screamed. I named him Bob.
But we have a photo of that.
Yes.
That's good. And we have a photo of Haley's also?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was one of the rooms, and it was, I mean, it's very Mother 3, which was very cool.
It was way more fun than it should have been.
The room next to that was Club To The Boo, which is a place in Mother 3, and it was the karaoke room. Such a great idea. It was also a jam space. Like, people had instruments and they played, which I think was there last year, but I never saw.
It was up where the board games were last year.
But having a karaoke room almost made too much sense. Like, it was such a good addition. It just was really, really good idea. And otherwise, I think that was...
There was the creative suite room.
Oh yeah, that was the other one. They had a bunch of computers set up with a bunch of like...
Kid pics.
They had a bunch of Super Nintendo set up with Mario Paint. They actually had, because they were doing the film festival, they actually had a computer, or two computers in there running software that you could just edit in there. And they had some people in there that would help you edit and help you do special effects. Steve was in there doing special effects because he's an After Effects wizard. So that was really cool. That was really neat.
They had a green screen in there too.
And they had a green screen. So they had all this stuff that was very creative, very hands-on, and that's really what the weekend was about. And that there was some similarities from last year, because that was a little bit, but this year was like super hands-on, like get in there, meet people, make stuff. That's what it was all about, and it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was very fun, and the big thing for us, the way the weekend was so different from last year, is that last year we spent a lot of time in the stream room watching the stream. We met some people, but we spent a lot of time in the stream room, and when you're in the stream room, you don't like meet and talk to people. This weekend, because we weren't there, like we weren't in the stream room, we were elsewhere, we met and talked to so many people. Like so many people. We met, I don't know how many people, but it was a lot.
A lot of people.
There was a lot of people there that either knew us from Starman back in the day, or knew us from watching our videos now,
Or knew us from Japan.
or worked for Fangamer.
That overlaps.
There was quite a few patrons that were there, so it was really neat, and it was really cool to actually, honestly, for the first time ever at a con, just hang out with people. I mean, when we go to PAX events, we're usually doing like this and that and this and that. Like we're so busy, we do a meetup for an hour, but there's like 100, 150 people that show up, and we're trying to talk to everybody. And this was just completely different. It was like, I'm just gonna sit down and play video games. Like I played Mario Kart with viewers. Like it was a kind of thing that just could not happen at a PAX event. Like it would be very difficult for that kind of thing to even happen. And here it was like, there was no deadlines, there was no expectations, there wasn't anything we had to do or any place we had to be. So we just chilled. And we spent a lot of the time just talking to people and stuff. There was that one of the days, on Saturday, we spent the entire day working pretty much on the Five Ways to Orange film.
Yeah.
Which was fun. It was for a very small group of people, but hopefully they enjoyed. It was a really good time, but it was very different from last year.
Yes.
And the finale, I'm gonna stay Mother 3 spoiler free here. Gonna do my best. Like last year, it was such a different finale than this year, and it wasn't that this year was bad, but it was different. It was notably different. Because last year, the ending, I think the best word to describe it was chaos. It was chaotic. Mm-hmm. Like you walked in there and it was ominous, and you're like, what's happening? And then all of a sudden it got started, and you're like, oh my god, this is happening, this is crazy. And this year, it took a different tone, which it probably needed to, because the tone of Mother 2 is so different than Mother 3. Like Mother 3's tone is very different, especially the ending. And it was just very, I don't know. There was, I dare say there was a dry eye in the house. Like it was a different direction, but it was still really cool to see, I guess, is the best way I could describe that, and also not spoil Mother 3 for everyone. I'd also say that the overall tone of the weekend was weird. It was really weird, like even more so than last year. There were so many bizarre things happening. Like when we first got there, we checked in, and then when we came down, the first thing that happens, first thing that shows up on the vlog for that weekend, is that I'm mobbed by 14 people wearing identical clothing, carrying a mannequin
dressed as Lucas.
And I'm just like, okay.
Our little boy Lucas.
They were doing this this augmented reality thing where like the CEO of this company, Kevin Scott, worked for Video Gamely, and they were producing their last issue of this magazine. And they had these interns who were trying to do all these really weird things. And as someone who was not, like I didn't really know anything about it, and I felt like that was the best way to approach it, was to just go in there and say, everything's gonna be really weird, and that's okay. So like throughout the weekend, there would be times where you would see
a mannequin.
There would be a mannequin, a single mannequin, and there would be like a group of people with them, like taking photos with them and
putting him on the ride.
Yeah, and it was cool because like that personification of Lucas was supposed to be like the Lucas from the game. So, Lucas actually got a chance, that mannequin got a chance to show up in the finale, and it was relevant. So it was weird, really weird, but it was
I felt things about a mannequin I never thought I could.
So it was different. It was different.
Haley decided it was her son.
Yeah, everyone wanted to get their picture taken with it, and everyone wanted to, there was a lot of different films that used it. It was just such a weird
People took it to
thing.
the pool, like...
Yeah, and apparently, when it was all said and done, Fangamer took the mannequin back, but they couldn't find the arms. The arms are gone. Like, the arms wouldn't stay on the mannequin, and they kept up with them for a while, but now that the event's over, they have the mannequin back, but they don't know where the arms are. So Lucas is sitting in the Fangamer office with no arms.
In the window.
In the customer service window.
Yeah.
So that's where Lucas is, just chilling for the rest of forever. But overall, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a really good weekend, and it was interesting for me because it was such a unique con in the sense that we hung out with people. Mm-hmm. You know, like It doesn't happen. It's always like we hang out with our, you know, our group or something, like at PAX. You know, we have like 6 to 8 people and we go do things with them, or we have like meetings with developers and stuff like that. And this was just completely different because it's just like, no, just chill. You know, me and Alex played Donkey Kong Country for a few hours and we got to do fun things like that. We got to just chat with people and it was really nice. And it was weird. The convention was weird, but we also kind of knew it was going to be weird, so.
What's the tagline for Mother 3? Like the ad tagline?
Strange, funny, and heart-rending. Yeah. I mean, that was kind of, it was strange, funny, and heart-rending, so. I guess it was right on the money for Mother 3, I don't know. Anyway, if you went, talk about your experiences below. It was a pretty small event. Last year at Camp Fangamer there were 350 people. This year it was down to I think about 200, so it was almost cut in half. It's very, very tiny. And yet, this year it was weird because I felt like I missed a ton of people. Like after the event I was looking on Facebook and I was like, wait, they were there? What? They were there? Like I never saw them. And I think it's because there were so many things that you could be doing that people, you know, they would go do something and they'd be there for a few hours. So you would be somewhere and then you'd like totally miss them as you did different activities. So there was quite a few people that I found out later were there and I like never even saw. And I felt a little bad, but I never even saw them. But yeah, if you went, be sure to share your experiences because I would love to hear them. And especially for anyone who you know, didn't go last year and went this year, like, I mean, at least if you went last year, like you kind of knew what to expect. And if you just if you just show up for this year, you're like, what is going on? Anyway, that's it for today. Hope that reflection video helps explain some of our thoughts on things. I don't regret, you know, not making a condensed version of the stream, especially this year because we just never saw the stream. Like last year it was really interesting for me to watch it and then to see.
Because we were in the room most of the time.
Yeah, and I had a lot of B-roll that I put from my own camera, like into the video. But this year we never even walked in, and we just didn't need to. So I'm really glad that I chose ahead of time not to do that. Anyway, thanks for watching, and as always, let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?